You like that, Frosty? Hey, Elisa. And why be here? I know you're one of the biggest fans, Frosty. No, Christine, you did not hit the wrong button. You're welcome, Trench. Oh, Aang. Aang, should I end this and come back when you're ready? You catch the rerun. Yeah, you may not get a notification. There's that strong possibility. All right. Welcome back. We try this yet again today. Let's see where it goes. What do you guys think? I can't even keep up with the comments. Okay. Broccoli, I am a big fan of the Irish goodbye. In case you didn't get that note. Trying to understand Susan here. Something you and I agree on, Susan? It's good to know. The afternoon is still young, Susan. We may piss you off a little bit more because there's lots of really great things to discuss. Lots of great things to converse about. Let's take a look at some of those. Only because there's been so much going on. Let's see, where do we want to start here? Let's see what we got here. Okay, we got all that. Got all that. Let's go to this other one here. Because I'm well aware you guys know what a cesspool Twitter is. And it continues to be just the cesspool. What should we start with? This is a tough one because there's so much similarity. You know what? Let me leave it up to you. Let's see here. Let's do it this way. We're gonna do a little poll here. Question is first topic. Do you want J6 or let's see, all ages drag. What was the other option? I know there's a third option in here. Gosh, Zelensky's a good one. Or okay, that's the third one. Let's try this one. This will be okay. This is gonna be great. Let's see. I'll let you guys decide. We'll leave it up to you, and we'll see what this first topic's going to be, because it's just there's too much good stuff either way. And I know G Abbott was here earlier. I'm curious to see, you know. Oh shoot! I might have put that in the wrong. I did. You guys don't see that poll, do you? I forgot. I started a new stream, and shoot, I didn't realize I hadn't refreshed that page yet. Oh yeah. All right, I screwed up. My apologies. Oh no, there it is. It's there. I see. There it is. Okay. An error occurred. Let's see here. Error occurred again. So clean chalkboard. That's showing up right. Okay, let me try this here. It will not let me do that. Create poll. Start a poll. It's because I screwed up. What was that? What was that third one? Oh yeah. Okay, there you go. There's the poll. It helps if I put it in the right chat. I literally just had it in completely the wrong, the last live stream. It's funny, in that other chat, just me added a fourth option, which is in the live stream. Apparently that's winning, so. Oh, just me. I hope you can take a little bit of fun. It's funny because Crazy Carolina said something to me. She goes, if anybody knows better, the last thing you do is tell Wizzy how to stream. Or what he should stream. Ang Q says longer. I thought you had someplace to go, Ang. I know, Christine. I completely biffed that one. Gross says anything but okay. Can we stream a stream? We could. In fact, I didn't even put that on there because there is some stuff that could go that way. Because let me see what I saved here. I got a couple of interesting ones on YouTube that I stumbled on. Did we ever? Oh, we did. see here. I could have sworn I added to that, though. For some reason, it doesn't look as though they updated. How's our poll look? J6 it is. So there's Ford Fisher. Let's see here if this works. No, that didn't work. Let me fix this real quick. Make sure we're capturing the right window. Let's see here. Let's try it now. Yeah, here we go. So you got Ford Fisher put out a thread February 27th here. I'll pull this up. And he says, since January 6, 2021, I have made it a mission of mine to acquire and publish entire unpublished cameras worth of January 6 footage to the public. Today I have hours of new J6 footage to share with the world, and this is the thread. A lot of people there. Does anybody understand that? We're all out of bubble gum. Trying to remember his name. I met him on January 4th outside the gates at the Trump rally in Georgia. Trying to get into the Trump rally like this. And I go, you really think they're going to let you in with that spear? And so I watched that interaction. Everybody's a neo-Nazi, Al. Al Munson, are you a Greatest American Hero fan? Do you know the connection that I have to the Greatest American Hero TV show? I'm just curious. Who's a reasonable person? Are you talking about this guy, Al? This guy? How he's reasonable? What did he do, Al? This guy, he's not part of Antifa. And in Atlanta, outside Atlanta, in Dalton, Georgia, is where the rally was on January 4th. He just went back to his car, and they wouldn't even allow him to wear his makeup. He had to take off his makeup, and so when I saw him late in the night, he was basically dressed actually quite nice. He had a jacket on and collared shirt, kind of in Oxford. Sort of looked a bit preppy, perhaps. And that's how he went into the rally. No, Al Munson. What videos are those you're talking about? Patton. Not sure what tangent you've gone off on. He had gone to Arizona. He had been in California. He had traveled all over the place and rallied with, at the Trump events. This was a character that he put together, like so many others who were Trump supporters. Sort of, what I called the sideshow. Why do you think I have the greatest American hero symbol, WYSIWYG? I don't know. I just noticed that you changed that the other day, and that's why I asked you about it. Hold on one second. Let me see. I'm trying to find something for Al Munson. Just hold tight a second. It's now the Al Munson and WYSIWYG show. Because I got all day. Well, I kind of, until I want to get back onto life and go hang with the unicorn and do something. I'm not going anywhere, but I have to be able to see to find what I'm looking for. Yeah, I thought I had it up here. But I think that it's downstairs in my other storage area. Buddy of mine, who's a stuntman, was the stuntman for The Greatest American Hero. My buddy also did a number of other TV shows that I grew up watching, and my son actually is named after him, and he's got the biggest heart of any stuntman that I know, and he's an incredible guy, Dennis, and so when I see that, but somewhere I have he used to give out patches, and he made T-shirts. He's very proud of his work on Greatest American Hero and everything else that he's done. But so I'm sorry if I ruined that for you, Al Munson. See, I don't know if this changes every time or not. It caught up. It took just a second. So 61% of you said that you wanted to talk about J6. 103 votes. So that's kind of what we're doing. But let me go back to this here. Command central screen. But anyway, back to this. But yeah, I forget what they called him. Or his name was. Some more photos. So this is the front of the Capitol. For those of you who are keeping track of, where these images and angles come from, the first group of people that entered the property would have come from the opposite side of the building. So Ford talks about Bobby Powell's live stream filmed on January 5th and 6th. 4 different cameras. I don't know if Bobby Powell was working for Ford. He says of those cameras, one was lost in the fighting. With the other 3, he live streamed and recorded. I have obtained all of that, including live streams deleted by Facebook and unpublished footage. So for some of you who know and have been paying attention to me and being around for a while, back when January 6th happened, it didn't take very long that YouTube started removing channels that had live streams and videos from January 6th. So one of the things that I did, I waited a little while, but we were seeing more and more accounts getting taken down. Almonson, that's a great question. Do you have any thoughts as to why? Have you considered at all why that's not the case? Why do you think, Al, why do you think Tucker is not releasing 45,000 hours of video footage? What's on first? Who's on first? What's on second? I don't know. Is on third. We certainly can. And you might actually see video because I literally, I have not gone through any of this. I haven't looked at this. I saw the thread and I was like, okay, this is really interesting that Ford is putting this out. And I thought we'd look at it together and sort of explore it and what it's all about. Lucy says Tucker is as corrupt as the rest. Is he? Okay. Liberty Bell says because he will probably disappear. Who's going to disappear? Tim K says because the footage implicates Trump supporters. So Tucker, I think is what they meant, can keep misrepresenting what was on the footage. What was on the footage? There's lots of different angles. There's lots of different things to see. And, one of the things that you see is not everybody broke into the Capitol. Not everybody was violent. Yes, there were people who were violent. Yes, there were people who broke windows to get into the Capitol. And we're not talking a ton of windows. I'm trying to think, two spots where they broke windows that I'm aware of to get in. Well, actually, no, I would say, now I think about it, 3, because there was the spot that I showed on camera where they were trying to break the glass underneath, which is that front, this front area here. In my live stream, you could see people underneath these steps. There's a tunnel that goes through here. I actually walked underneath through this tunnel because there's a bunch of doors on the lower level here, and there were people banging on the doors. And the only reason I didn't stay and show that and cover that was because when I went into that tunnel there, my live stream cut out because of cell signal. So I quickly kind of moved through. But in my hard copy, the recorded copy that the backpack saves, you can see that. Aha says it's because Fox News needs to make money. Well, I still haven't seen Al Munson. He should be releasing it little by little, in my opinion. No reason not to. Yeah, so they just got access to it, from what I understand, on Monday. Obviously, there's 45,000 hours. Al, you're aware that a producer from Tucker Carlson, it's not even actually Tucker Carlson himself, but a producer from Tucker Carlson who has been paying attention to everything that's going on, right? Trying to see where this comment is. I see. See, Mimas, I would actually disagree with you, only to a certain degree. I wouldn't say it was all a setup, but there were things that happened that helped lead to what ultimately occurred, right? So you can't broad brush the entire thing. Bruce, you're more than welcome to join me. The link is in the chat up at the top. Ray Epps, we were talking about, I'll pull that clip up again where you see Ray Epps in the initial breach of the bike rack fencing in this one clip. It's surprising that the January 6th committee said, "Oh no, he's okay. We've talked to him. He did not do anything. He's okay." Tucker has never showed up in DC for the vigil. Liberty Bell, why would he? Who do you think you are? Hell, I haven't showed up in DC for the January 6th thing at the jail. Not that I'm aware of. You know, and it's interesting, Al. I'd love to actually have you come up on panel and talk about this, because you know, the idea is that Nancy Pelosi didn't want the footage released because of the security threat that it would give away, what their security is like and where the cameras are and things like that. So on one hand, you have that, and that could be a stipulation is like, they don't want to share 45,000 hours with the world just so that, somebody doesn't. So by letting somebody like Tucker Carlson, who has questioned the motivations of the J6 committee, to actually look at the footage, maybe there are stipulations, maybe, it depends on what he finds, whether, we don't know yet, right? As far as I know, nothing's come out yet from that footage. So he's also somebody that understands. Well, because Al, as far as I know, he was the only mainstream media outlet that wanted to see it, wanted it released, was calling for it to be released to answer the questions that were being asked, right? And so, if you've watched and you've seen him talk about it, he was like, we've asked for this, we asked for it. Well, guess what? We've now been granted access to be able to watch it, but they have to go to the Capitol and they have to sit in this room and watch the surveillance footage, perhaps with a babysitter. I don't know. I'm sure at some point we'll learn something about that. That may be what we're looking at here, Rolling. Quite possibly. Check out M5 Newsgate. Stranger watched the people the night before talking about taking the Capitol. They all hung out at Henry's bar. I don't think they meant it, though. I would be curious to see whatever that is, that because the only footage that I've seen where that's talked about was from Ray Epps standing in BLM Plaza the night before. This sort of famous clip of him on the street and then everybody calling him a Fed because the people around him knew that was not, a good idea. Nobody has shown up to the J6 vigil, just grifters. Did you see the J6er that they used his grift send go in his hearing? The J6er. But so you've got a lot in this one statement here, Al. Everybody's a grifter and a Nazi, aren't they, Al? I can see why you're so well liked. That is true. There were not enough cops. You could see that in my video too. In fact, I pointed it out at the time. I thought, wow, there's a lot of people and you got 5 cops on the lawn. I thought the same thing at the time in my video. Maybe, right? How long does it take to go through 45,000 hours of video by yourself? And the system that they have, you don't think that's a bit of a challenge, Al? Just like, if you watch video, you can watch a minute of video every minute, right? Now, I would imagine if they have a security system, you could possibly watch a multi-screen, sort of like a live stream multicast, and see, full frame, 10 cameras, maybe see enough. Depends on how big the displays are, right? Maybe you could watch 40 cameras at a time. I've thought about how I would attack watching that footage. Okay. Well, I think there's your answer, though, baby, is MSNBC has proven to be sort of dishonest media. And since Kevin McCarthy is a conservative, right wing, what else would you say? Republican, that probably gave it to Fox for a reason. So, but we'll see. You know, I would not necessarily attack anyone until we know the facts and see whatever gets uncovered. Lots of news agencies wanted the footage, right? But we've also seen what lots of news agencies did, and also promoting what the J6 committee put together in their wonderfully edited, narrative-filled video, right? Al Munson, let me ask you this. Just curious. I got to catch up. Al Munson says, duck, duck, go it. Let me ask you this. Well, again, if their security concerns are legit, that is one clearly understandable reason to not release all the footage so that anyone can view it and put that together, right? So I'm reasonable to that. I think the Capitol, just like any other building, needs to properly be secured and have a level of security in that way, which is really interesting because somebody opened up doors, right? So there's that. But Tucker is not dishonest too, baby says. Question mark? I think maybe it might have been there. He has been proven to have lied about what he thought about Trump. Actually, no, baby. I disagree with that. And the reason I disagree with that is because you're pulling that from a lawsuit and a legal brief put together by the attorneys for a voting machine system, right? It's amazing that the voting machine company would not want scrutiny, but okay, I understand that. But that's literally all, you know. So Al Munson, how many Proud Boys do you think were there based on what you watch from the J6 committee release? They actually haven't admitted that in court. In fact, they're in that legal, you know, process right now, and hence the reason why apparently they're not talking about it on Fox News, because this is being litigated, and at some point we will see the outcome of that. But you know, the sales pitch of the voting machine the voting machine company, that's all you saw was that side making a claim, trying to sell the judge to side with them. It was a pretty good pitch. I got to admit, it was a good pitch. But that's what it was. And so when you jump in here and you spout these things as truths, remember who you're, you know, sort of defending, these lawyers, right? That are making claims to support only their client. So, but you do you. So apparently he uh, proposed to his wife on January 6th, which I found interesting. His footage is real. That is true. This was him. And it's interesting. He's got this interesting media hat. I didn't have one of those cool hats. You guys have seen the picture of me at January 6th, right? Not a single piece of Trump gear on me. In fact, I was wearing my Cook hat, the movie that I did with Eddie Murphy. I think it was the movie I had finished up right before that. It was a nice warm bonnet. Stocking, what do they call that? Beanie? I was wearing that. I was dressed for the weather. It was cold. Baby, they took a piece, a single line out of whatever statement. It's one of the things that we've seen multiple times used where statements are taken out of context, and that's part of it. Yes, absolutely. The lawyer's role is to build a case to win for their clients. So I think when it's all said and done, we might have a better understanding of what's going on. So that's why Fox News isn't talking about it. And that's why I'm sort of like, you know, I love the attack and the belief that you guys all have, baby. But I know you're really anxious because the derangement syndrome is strong with everybody. So. Yeah, I've seen how that works, Al Munson. I'm well aware of how a deposition works. One of the things they didn't do is release the depositions, correct, Al? They pulled bits and pieces from those depositions, right? Sound bites, you might call them. So, of course, the lawyers are going to build a case to suit their clients. Scott says, everything said under oath is not a fact. Interesting. Good for you, Ray. You know, admitting your problem is the first step towards a better life. Something like that, right? All right. Heather, I don't think there was a notification, which I don't know why that in there. So it's an interesting Georgia peach. That's an interesting question, right? That's weird. That's sort of a, you know, why not? Like, not for January 6th. Oh, I love it. I should just turn off my end and let you guys argue in the comments. I know, Al. You're so understanding. It's funny. Al, do you know what got us to January 6th? Have you ever been able to sort of acknowledge that? Just curious. See what
Do not go in there.
This was interesting. Hang on, let me get this. Let me get this back the right way. Because this was this footage here. This guy breaking out the window.
Do not go in there.
I can't quite tell. What's that building that's back there? This might be looking west towards the reflecting pool on the second floor. But I could be wrong about that. Not positive. I think that's looking toward, I think that building that's back there is the Smithsonian. This it says in the footage that Bobby has published before but has never been seen at this resolution. Bobby can be seen telling rioters, "Do not go in there," after one pulls out a broken window. The man who pulled out the window bizarrely pushes away another man who is about to go through. Let's see here. He's talking about this here.
Stand. And it gets so loud that I have to turn my camera around just in time to see this man all dressed in militia type gear, you know, paramilitary type duds, pulling that glass completely out of its window, throwing it on the ground, and stepping aside to let people in. And this kid comes rushing up like he's going to go in that window, and that's when I break from reporter mode. Up until this moment, in all of my video that I shot, you know, for the show and whatnot, you don't hear my voice once. But as I said before, I am a United States Marine sworn to defend this nation from all enemies, foreign and domestic. Nobody is going through a broken window during a riot into the United States Capitol on my watch. I wasn't going to allow it to happen. I took an oath as a 16-year-old Marine recruit, and that oath has no expiration date. I don't care if you're wearing a MAGA hat or carrying a Trump.
So it's interesting because I wonder, like, you know, was he had media on his helmet? You know, is he there in a journalist capacity? And then that question always is, as a journalist, as a representative of the media, aren't you just supposed to sort of document and not get involved? You know, that's sort of the way I understand it. But
your mic is crackling a little bit. I don't know if you can.
Is it Truth or Cop?
Yeah.
Is it too loud? Maybe.
No, I don't know. It's been like 15 minutes I've heard it. I didn't know if it was on my end, but it's...
I don't know. Nobody else has mentioned it.
It's not right now.
What's going on?
Well, you know, I don't know if you saw the video I made, but
Oh, I did.
okay.
In fact, I got messages about it.
I figured you would. And again, I'm not
how do you
saying
think
anything...
that worked out?
What?
Well, the you know, what you were saying, what you were talking about. Did you look at that article beforehand?
Yeah.
And go through it?
Well, see,
you did?
Yes. Yep.
And you thought, you know, here's something I should do is help perpetuate this lie by a young man
again,
who, you know.
Do you understand what the bigger picture is? Do you understand what the bigger picture is that I was pointing at there? I was trying to get at in the chat there.
Yeah, I
because
don't.
I said I couldn't confirm or deny it. How am I supposed to confirm or deny that? But I've heard it from several people.
Confirm or deny what? Confirm or deny what?
if somehow you became a confidential informant. No, but you couldn't. It's impossible. So the issue already exists. It wasn't something
What
I
would
made
I
up.
be
I've heard
a
it from
confidential informant for?
to follow the people's convoy and film everything. And I get it's ridiculous, but on a certain extent, but to film everything. And then your ties to Sparrow. Sparrow, I'm more sus of Sparrow.
What are
really
my
because of your
ties to
there.
Sparrow?
The fact that he was with you the entire time. He didn't like to be on camera. And
Right.
as a Russian agent myself, I think he's working for a certain nation to push an agenda. I'm not joking.
Do you want to go back out and come back in as Golden Chariot, somebody who's not a caricature of real life, and have an honest conversation? Because
I am having an honest conversation.
No, you're actually not.
Yes, I am.
Well,
no, I'm being serious.
Your claim of being a Russian agent is sarcasm, but people don't know that. So,
Let
it's
me
like,
explain what I mean then. At sake of never getting, the reason I wouldn't explain it earlier is because, I'm risking not having employment with them again. Rupley.
Not having employment with who?
RT, Rupley. I've worked for them. They tell me where to go, what to shoot.
Right.
Because they want.
I was going to work for Rupley. Well, not work for Rupley, but I was going to be. Rupley reached out to me because somebody reached out to them at some point, well before the convoy. I just didn't like their terms of getting content, and it frankly wasn't content the way I made content. I was happy to sell them, my live streams that they could pull bits from if that's what they wanted. But yeah. It was very strange.
So so now that I have that on the table,
that doesn't make you a Russian spy.
But do you understand why they hire people to film?
They don't want you to go actually film, does a pretty good job with live streams and
Right. But what is the purpose from the Russian perspective of getting film from America?
Well, I don't know that
do they want to make America look like a shining gem of a country to be in? Or is it more likely that they want to film civil unrest and events, destruction and damage in other nations to make America look like a lesser nation than Russia in front of the rest of the world?
So how is that different than anything we see come out of Ukraine by American news agencies or the lack of, and then it becomes mostly Twitter that has, sort of the actual truth of what's going on and video and things like that as the only source of being able to understand what's happening? Does that make everybody then, like, where do you sort of determine what's appropriate for people to see that's newsworthy?
I didn't say it was inappropriate. I didn't judge anything about it. I said, I think this is what's happening. And when I was calling Sparrow a Chinese spy, I think that he's working for a Chinese company.
What Chinese company is he working for?
I don't know. China's very secretive. So they want propaganda of civil unrest in America.
Do you think he's Chinese?
He goes to Hong Kong. I don't.
No, but
in fact, it's just simply because.
Do you think Sparrow's Chinese?
No. I just said
then
no.
Why are you calling him a Chinese spy?
Because I didn't say he's a spy.
You did in your live stream.
Well, okay.
You did.
Well,
you actually was like, I know for sure he is.
I don't think I said spy.
You did.
I'm certain I didn't. Spy or agent? Did I say spy or agent?
You said
spy. I called myself a Russian agent. I don't think so. If I did, I meant agent.
Because I looked at the unicorn and go, he thinks Sparrow's a Chinese spy.
Okay, but all right, let's get to the, rather than attack the argument too much, I want to get to the point. It's okay. I think that there's a company that pays him to film and get in these spots like the Ashley Babbitt incident, tells him where to go, where to be. And
why do you think
he doesn't know? Because did you see the footage of the? I don't want to see. We're getting into risk of terms and conditions here on YouTube. The Ashley Babbitt thing with the dude punching the window in the glass.
Oh yeah, I saw the video, and it's funny because I could see Sparrow's camera in that video.
Oh, it wasn't okay. I didn't know which one it was, and again, it's so hard to find any footage of it. And the one clip
Well,
that I knew on BitChute,
you don't know
I
what you're
couldn't
looking
pull up.
for.
No, I mean, I'd seen it. I've seen it before.
Are you
I just
sure?
didn't-
How do you know what
Yeah.
his footage looks like?
I've seen him in the footage.
Okay. But you said that the footage that you're showing was his, and I'm curious
said
how
I
you
thought
know
it
what
was.
his footage
I
looks
said
like.
I'm fairly sure it was because of the position he was in. Again, I couldn't pull up the other
Right.
footage in time.
And
to do
I
the
can tell
stream.
you that that's not his footage.
Okay, I'll believe it.
So
But-
because you could see his camera pop into the frame.
Yeah. Okay. See,
And
but
then,
again, I
and then
couldn't-
there was also somebody
again-
who had an iPhone or some sort of cellular device that was recording video to the right of that person that is in the video that you showed, which was interesting. But so what is the point you're trying to make? Because you like, some Chinese agency you claim is putting him in the right position. Do you know how? Have you seen the footage to know how he got there?
He got very lucky if it was all sheer
Did he?
coincidence.
The funny thing is if you've seen the footage, it is sheer coincidence. But also, too, could you possibly imagine for a second that somebody who's covered protests and been in these situations might just have sort of a decent sense of what's going on and what to show and what to cover?
Yeah, I mean, he's very skilled. I said that. I made that very clear.
Right.
He knows what he's doing. But again, I look at it like working for RT, or not Rupley. They tell me where to go and what to shoot, right? So imagine
Well,
if
they tell you that they want you to cover an event someplace, right? They don't
yes,
give
but-
you
but hold
specifics
on,
of
hold
how
on.
to cover
right.
it.
I know I'm about to say that.
Well, help everybody understand that, because your
Okay,
claim
so-
is that I get
okay.
told what to, cover. Well,
Can I explain, or are you just going to keep interrupting?
no, I just want to make sure that you get there.
I'm getting there right now.
Okay.
The guys punch. Okay, the whole thing. I don't want to say it directly because I think it's a violation somehow. The very organic people there punching glass were orchestrated, totally organically. It wasn't planned, right? I don't know how to say that, or, I hope you get what I'm getting at. So something, there was planning behind, right?
So you think there's a conspiracy that
Yeah.
what Jaden X had on his live stream was all faked and planned?
No, but they put people in place, right? To do certain things and to behave
Who
in a
put
certain
people
way.
in place?
The federal government. And if we
I don't
got
know what you have that shows you that, but I
okay,
have yet to see
Wizzy.
any evidence of that.
Wizzy, you have a group of people. The natural narrative here, you have a group of people that want their power back, right? They want their rights and freedoms. They want to
see,
take
that's-
power from the government.
Actually, that's where I think you're wrong, because that is not what Trumpers, as you might call them, believe.
Okay, they want to change the way the
Trumpers
government
never
is.
believed that. It was literally about a stolen election.
Wizzy, you
That's
push
what
ideas
January
and
6th
You're
was.
stuck in your position. You're stuck.
I'm not, but that's
You
actually, and they said it over and over again. I don't know how many times you need to hear it. They didn't think, they weren't trying to take over the government.
I didn't say they were.
Well,
It's
you
a
just,
demonstration. No, it's a demonstration. It's the same thing as
it's
Black
a
Lives
demonstration,
Matter.
but they weren't trying to take power back or hold
What-
power.
They were there for no. That's not what I'm saying.
They
Don't
said
twist my
exactly
words.
why they were there.
Wizzy, you have an agenda sometimes, and you can't see the truth.
I
through
don't.
It. And I
just,
get that you say
that's
this.
that's
you
why
do.
they were there.
You do.
But I
You're
hear
doing
this
it right now to
argument
me.
where even like Al Munson says that.
I'm not making that argument. You're thinking I'm making a different argument than I am.
what
They
you
were there
said,
to
man.
demonstrate. No.
Yes, they were there. They were there to protest.
Okay, they were there because they wanted the government to remain exactly as it is right now. That's why they
No,
were there, right?
they didn't want it.
Okay,
That's not what
they
they wanted.
to change the government. That's why they were there.
No.
That's the whole.
They were there
Okay,
protesting
listen.
an election.
They-
That's why they
Okay.
went there. Trump
Okay.
was mad about what
they
happened
were
during
challenging
the election,
They
right?
were yes, they were
the
challenging.
big lie, they call it. Well,
Right.
not the conservatives, the Democrats.
They were challenging that, right? That narrative, the official government narrative. They challenged it. Whatever you, however you want to phrase it, Lizzie.
Right.
Let's agree to this certain thing. What do you want me to say? What do you want me to call it?
Here's my question.
We're stuck in a non-argument.
What do you think they wanted?
I don't care. They wanted to change the government in some aspect.
No.
It doesn't matter.
You should know what they wanted because they were very clear about what they wanted.
The forest of the trees, man. I'm not. You're down here. I'm talking about something much bigger. You're down here in the details.
You're bringing these things up. So they wanted Pence to not certify the election and look into
you're stuck
the election
in the divide,
results.
Man. Your mind is split. Your mind is split.
That's what people wanted. That's why they were there protesting. So, okay.
But the people in power didn't want what they wanted. Can we agree to that? The people in power didn't want what the protesters wanted.
That is correct also.
Okay, now that we're there.
Those are two correct statements.
Okay, now that we're there, that's all I'm trying to get at.
Okay.
The people in power, the easiest way to stop the people who want whatever they want, whatever's different than what the people in power want, is to put someone in there, get them to act up so they can put charges on everyone. Because with RICO statutes, if they can make it a terroristic event, they can charge everyone. And the moment they do that, people are intimidated. They don't protest anymore. And this happens at every event.
And
every event.
I agree and understand. Now, here's where we'll question this and be honest about it. So we know, without a doubt, Jaden X as one person, right, who had been in BLM protests for a year, had a I hate Trump movement up in Seattle, threw on Trump gear, and in his live stream antagonized and said, burn the place down, did all of the typical anti-fascist rhetoric, whatever you want to call it, as he stormed the Capitol with everyone else in his Trump gear, right? And then found himself in the same exact spot where this group of people were in this hallway, and he recorded them breaking the window, and then Ashley Babbitt crawling through the window and subsequently being shot. Correct?
I don't know who Jaden X is. I'll take your word on it.
Okay, so it's very important when you talk about this that you understand what it is you're talking about. Jaden X is John Sullivan. John Sullivan sold that footage to CNN and MSNBC for $35,000 a piece. $82,000 is what apparently he had sold in total before the day was over, January 6th. He had cut deals for this footage to those two networks. He went on to do interviews with CNN, MSNBC, made his rounds as the man who shot the footage. I showed you some video, I don't know, last week maybe, I think it was, where there's video footage, audio footage of him talking about the fact that he was an activist, is an activist, BLM activist, hated Trump, while simultaneously went into the Capitol to document this. Right. And he used Jaden X to cover himself under a different entity, to portray a different type of journalist from his activist and Antifa shenanigans that were going on, because he was one of the live streamers that we watched from Seattle from the very beginning. They're live streaming as an Antifa anti-fascist activist on the ground in Portland as they were trying to burn down the federal courthouse up there. So that's who Jaden X is. But he was also arrested and released.
Yeah.
And is not facing any charges at this point.
Oh, well, there we go. That's exactly the kind of stuff that we're talking about.
However, when you say that, journalists were given a pass on January 6th.
For sure.
Except for a couple, apparently. And I won't talk about that because I don't have all the details and I don't know. I know one at the time, 2 weeks later, that it was arrested and picked up in Texas. I can't remember his name. I don't remember all the details, so I won't begin to even talk about it. But most journalists, if not all journalists, have been not charged by the government for being on the property, covering the protest, live streaming, whatever. They were given a pass. So Jade Next may have been given a pass just like any quote unquote journalist. His live stream was very different in the sense that it sounded like we were watching any other Antifa riot, which was interesting.
Yeah.
It's gone. You can't even watch his footage.
Yeah, it was hard to find. That was one of the reasons. But I just wanted to, because it was kind of rushed, obviously, the whole video I did.
Yeah.
But it was because I set a deadline. I said by the end of the month I was going to do this documentary, and I wanted to have it done. So that's what I was going with that day. That's the information I had. I tried to find, I went with what I got.
Did you ever reach out to me to ask me about these things or to talk to me about it before you went and did this live stream?
No. Nope.
Do you know who else didn't?
Who?
That kid who wrote that fucking article.
Mm-hmm.
Never talked to me. Do you know why?
He had a time limit and I don't know, or an agenda.
No, because it's just a fucking attack piece.
Mm-hmm. I did say it looked like an attack piece too.
Right.
Because it's the same thing. Right.
But you simultaneously put out my personal information.
Yeah, I know. It was already online. I wouldn't, if it,
just because it's online doesn't mean that, it's not still, a person's personal information.
Yeah, it was in the article.
Right.
I didn't say it. I didn't try to.
I understand.
That was not my intention. It wasn't.
If you read and looked at the article and went through it, do you know why my footage is not online for January 6th on YouTube?
Nope.
Care to know?
Yeah.
Because YouTube was shutting down channels that had J6 footage on them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I took it off YouTube only. It stayed up on Facebook. It stayed up wherever else it was streamed. It was just YouTube because I didn't want to get my channel shut down. It's still there. In fact, let me show you. Just in case you're curious.
Now your mic's cutting out again.
Is it?
It did when you turned, it started to cut out.
It might have just been me static and shutting the. I have a ground, I think. Might have to have an. I have not been able to figure it out, but here, this is my channel. Safari, and we'll pull this up here. I do it this way here. This is my channel. Here, I go to manage videos. All of my videos, everything that I've live streamed that hasn't been removed by YouTube itself due to misinformation strikes, community guidelines strikes, content that they removed is still all within my channels. Oh, actually, I don't want to be on the WYSIWYG channel. But all of the videos are still. Everything's still here, 109, and then if I actually have to change channels in order to pull up the J6 footage, but let's see here. Should come up on this one. Yeah, see, I just make everything private because the attacks on the channels and the streamers was so bad that the only way to protect the channel and keep it up was to actually take down the content so people can't try to create strikes, community guideline strikes, because it's live streamed footage, it's live streamed content. And frankly, I don't know what every second of content looks like. So that's why for me, I take it down.
I
This
still
is
have
the
videos
very
struck like
first. This is the very first video I ever put up, and this is of a reporter being harassed by a left-wing activist. But here, you talk to the chat for a second. I'll be right back.
that. Oh Lord. Did the government ask for your footage? That's I don't know. I'll have to ask him when he gets back. Truthers just looking for content. Not really. I got too much to cover, honestly. I'm trying to get through what I said I would get through. Unfortunately. A little too much to cover, unfortunately. I owe Spare an apology? No, I still stand by my words and what I meant. I think that somebody is... somebody's paying him, and I think that it happens to be a Chinese propaganda outlet of some sort, just like RT is a Russian propaganda outlet. I'll stand by that. You'll never convince me otherwise that that is what I think is happening. Because otherwise, how is he getting paid to do what he does? And I get that he sells clips or whatever, but I don't think that's what's happening. I could be wrong. I'll stand by that, but that is what I think is going on. Coat and hat indoors? I don't know. Can't always. That's what I felt like doing today. It's actually pretty cold here. I'm actually in a basement. So, second-hand store? No, it's a basement. It's a basement of a old building. Did the government ever ask you for your footage? I think you can hear me. Oh.
What's
Somebody
that?
asked. Somebody asked if the government
Somebody
ever
asked
asked for your
what?
footage. If the government ever asked for your footage.
No, actually, the government took the footage off YouTube. I was told about a year later that my footage had been handed over as part of discovery in some of the J6 cases.
Mm-hmm.
See,
There has
the
nothing to
government
do-
doesn't need to come to you to take your footage. They can get it through whatever, sources they have.
Well, yeah, because it's technically public domain still somehow.
Correct. And, frankly, if I was the government and you knew that everybody was live streaming on January 6th, they would have, in their little computer systems, grabbed everything just like many people did on January 6th. There's one restreamer that recorded every live stream he could from January 6th with the expectation that it was all going to get removed. So, there's people that do that, and that's completely understandable. So to think that the government wouldn't do it would be, ludicrous to think they wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Tim C.
Yeah, I mean they do it to be, but the thing is, they do it to all movements. They'll
Sure,
put people
they
in
do it
place in all movements because they want to control the narrative. Because they don't want people to collectively gather and have some effective, collection of people. To
Perhaps
make something.
I can understand that.
So they're always putting in things or smearing it.
Say that again.
They always put people inside, and they always smear it from the media. They hit it both ways.
Just like,
so where do you find those
just
people?
like they
How do you
said,
prove it?
Right. Just like they said that, when the FBI was being interviewed during committee hearing, they wouldn't admit how many undercovers were within the group on January 6th.
Yeah.
Rather than saying we didn't have people, they just wouldn't say how many they had.
Yeah.
So it's clear, from their answers that they weren't going to lie, but they wouldn't admit how many. So, but I do believe it's a combination of things. I think that there are, sort of conspiratorial ideas of how it all went down. But I think if you really look at all the little tidbits and pieces, there were things in place that allowed certain things to happen, and they did. And then it was utilized to its fullest extent, the same way we had seen everything happen since 2016. And, you know, the combination of the media who refuses to really investigate anything anymore. They are so willing to go along with a narrative. Baby says Sparrow is an American citizen, and to claim he is a Chinese spy with no evidence is
If I said spy, I retract that.
And irresponsible.
I retract spy. But I would say I suspect an agent in the regard that I just said. I think that
he's not.
That I won't. You're not going to move me from that position. I suspect that very strongly.
You can be as suspicious as you'd like.
Coming from the position of calling myself a Russian agent. So, and I explained what that means. So
yeah, I think that you say shit, you and Defender Vance and so many people say things without thinking and don't care
I think about it.
Who you hurt. Like, Sparrow's one of the kindest, nicest people I know.
Yeah, for sure.
Who would
He's still working,
never
you know, I
do
still suspect
anything
that I suspect.
like that.
Yeah, he wouldn't work for RT if...
And he doesn't...
Again,
look, you can sell footage to all kinds of people.
Yes.
You can sell footage anywhere. It doesn't make anything different. The footage is what it is.
I didn't say he's evil or bad. I didn't say that. I didn't say it's a bad thing. I just said I think that's what's happening.
It's impossible to have any sort of conversation with you like this.
Because I have a difference of opinion?
It's far from a difference of opinion.
Okay.
What you have, I'm sort of worried about you. I'm sort of worried that, you know, as well, I could say so many wildly exaggerated things.
Mm-hmm.
And it would do exactly, but see, I don't have the need or the want to make people suspicious, make people question, make people...
Neither do I. But if I see something and I suspect it, and it's... Yeah, but it's not...
That is what you're doing.
It's not just me. Yeah.
It's you could say that about so many things, right?
Yeah.
You question all you want.
Yeah.
But have some responsibility in the questions that you put out to public.
Yeah.
Then, you know, they go and go, oh, I heard Truther Cop, you know, call him a spy. He must be a spy.
Again, if I said spy, I retract that. But again, I called myself a Russian agent in the same stroke. So I don't see what's wrong with that.
That makes it okay.
Yeah. Because
it's
oh my gosh, we're all agents
what are you doing
of
to
certain
improve
things.
life? I'm trying to understand what you're doing to make the world a better place.
I'm trying to get people to think about how these events get infiltrated.
You're just giving them ammunition to attack people.
No, I don't want people to attack you or Sparrow. No, I don't. No, I don't.
No, but that is, you know, you may as well just go around calling everybody a Nazi and a white supremacist and a racist.
Mm-mm.
It's the same. It's the same effect.
Call me whatever you want. I don't care.
I don't. That's the thing. I know you don't. I don't.
And I didn't call you anything. I said that this is suspicious. I've had people point it out, and it is suspicious. But it also, but by going into that, we can create a scenario where we can begin to see how things might actually be happening behind the scenes. Whether or not it's true about you, it's happening somewhere, and we need to consider it. So how else do you bring that up and actually get people to think about it? How else would you do that?
I would first and foremost look at your methods and realize that they're flawed and how they affect people. And I truly don't see you as the kind of person that wants to do that.
No, I don't want to harm,
Right.
not my position.
You don't want to harm people, but that is the potential of what you do. Just like you didn't think Summer would be harmed in the things that you guys were talking about. But yet Ant still comes around and says, Wizzy believed that Breonna Taylor lived in a trap house, which if you watch your stream, that's not what I showed you. And that's not what the criminal case against her shows either.
She lived in a trap house, as in it was.
She did not.
It was, yes.
She did not.
He was trying to say the definition also includes sex trafficking. Is what he was saying.
That's not their claim in the criminal case either. She didn't live at 2424 Elliott.
Yes,
that's where the trap house was.
No, they suspect a trap house also includes drugs. The disconnect with Ant there is that he thinks a trap house automatically means sex, like sex trafficking. Trap house means drugs or whatever. It's a trafficking house. Yes. But it was. I just saw the article. I can pull up a document actually that points at it was.
That was at 2424 Elliott Avenue.
It was also 3003 or whatever it was. Too.
Correct. She lived at 3003. I forget the address, which is not what.
I have it.
Yeah. So again, he just doesn't listen. He wants to believe something. You don't want to ask me about this article that was written and reach out to me before you go on and you talk shit about me and then show everybody this nonsense and then go, well, I'm not sure what it really means, but here, I'll let you figure it the fuck out.
Yeah.
I thought you and I might have been a little bit, tighter.
We need to think like that, though.
No, we don't.
To be suspicious. You need to be suspicious of me, Wizzy. I could be an agent.
Why do I need to be suspicious of you?
You need to be suspicious of everything. The organization used 3003 Springfield Drive, number 4, to store proceeds from a trafficking operation. The defendant also used 3003 Springfield Drive as his address for bank account. What is it?
Correct.
There's something specific about.
Correct.
But I saw trafficking on there too, though.
All right.
And that would be a trap house.
The jailhouse phone records show that she had thousands of dollars at the house stored there from the conversation because somebody from the jail called her to get her to bring the money to get them out. So she knew what was going on.
Yeah. Yeah. Trafficking marijuana.
And again, that has nothing to do with the raid and how it happened and whatnot. It's just part of the story.
Yeah. I saw something about trafficking at that address. I can't find it right now. Which would mean it's a trap house.
Mm-hmm. That was 2424.
I don't know. I thought it was, I'm fairly certain I saw 3003 too, but. Oh, and speaking of Summer, I was going to release what I've been looking into on that, but because of what we're saying with her, I'm being extra careful, and it's not going to happen today.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that
she's been a right. She has been a victim.
See, no. She's also she got into stripping willingly. Okay. And I heard her say, I have a clip of her saying, right.
She can be a stripper and still be a victim simultaneously. Do you not understand that?
Yeah, and do you understand how somebody
that was my earlier stream.
Behind...
How can something be true and false simultaneously? Right? Just because you work in adult entertainment,
you could be a brother, you could be a
just
father.
Because you work in, right? You use your body to make money doesn't mean that you have to be a victim. However,
right? But yeah,
correct.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
Of course. No, you're not wrong.
Doesn't mean I agree with what she was doing. you know, but
Right.
sort of the facts matter as I keep
But,
hearing,
okay.
right?
Uh-oh.
Okay, what? Baby, that's my point with Scott.
I think did I drop out for a minute?
Oh, we lost Truth Cop. You're back.
I'm back. But okay, here's my take with Summer, and these are facts. She's a former prostitute. Her husband was trafficking
Yes.
drugs early on, and they now run a safe house together to help women get out of sex trafficking.
That's correct.
That
They
opens
both
every door
have-
and window to public scrutiny.
They
and she
both
shouldn't,
have.
she
They
shouldn't
both
hide
have
behind
turned their
this-
lives around.
But
Potentially.
okay, have they? Okay.
Right. But
see,
but
it
just,
opens them up if, that,
so
if that's
people
the
can't
position they want to
change.
be in. Of course they
Right.
can change. But if that's their whole position where they want to stand and they want to help sex trafficking survivors get out, it's open to public scrutiny, and it should be. And she can't hide behind the
Nobody
label
said
of a
they
survivor.
weren't allowed.
Yes,
and
but the
even
moment you start to
Summer
question
was like,
her,
I understand
she
the
hides behind the
scrutiny.
survivor role. Yeah, she says that, and
Who
then when you
said
ask,
she
I
hides?
asked her
She
a
talks
question.
about all of these things.
The only time
So-
I've ever been able to have a conversation with her, I said, "What's the definition of survivor?" She threw a fit and disconnected because I was trying to be gentle with the questioning. She couldn't answer that.
Sure.
So if she wants to be a public figure helping women get out of sex trafficking, she has to be able to represent that role and talk honestly and openly about it.
And
That's
she
just the
does.
nature.
I've seen actually a lot of interviews with her
Not with me.
online.
She didn't.
Well,
do that
no.
with me.
Guess why?
So,
Guess why? Probably because you've represented yourself in a way that I don't want to really talk to you either.
okay, that's fine. But when
Right.
I was making
And
the only
she's
stream I ever did
also
of her, and I was
shown to
looking
be
into
somebody
it,
who really, is quite passionate in the way she talks
Okay.
and dialogues about things. And
She won't
I
talk
would
to
imagine
me.
she's quite
And
mad at you.
The only time, the only stream I ever did when we first talked, she came on and she said, "I understand why it's suspicious. I'm going to go live and talk about it later." She never went live.
Mm-hmm.
I was on Jeff's panel, and she came. I was saying, "Oh, you never went live," and then all of a sudden, "Oh, I don't have to go live for you," and then she hides in the survivor role. How am I supposed to have an honest conversation with that? I can't. There was nothing wrong, and then all of a sudden she didn't do what she said she was going to do, and then hid in the survivor role. I didn't say anything about her. I was reading the thing, and so the reality is this whole thing follows her wherever she goes. So if she would stand and face it honestly, and just really address certain situations, it could dissolve
how long do
the
you
whole
think she
thing.
needs to stand and face it? I'm just
it would
asking that
dissolve the
question
whole
because
thing.
the whole Breonna Taylor thing
As long
is
as
quite
she
old
wants
now.
to, yeah, it's not about Breonna Taylor.
So like every
No.
year when somebody new finds
It
a
would- no, it would- No.
a King Kendrick video that some new aunt and some new truther cop go like, oh we find out like how many times does she need to talk about it? How many
As
times?
long as she wants to run a safe house in the public eye. As long as she
Really?
wants to run a nonprofit, yes, she's going to be open to that. That's just the nature of it. With the background
Okay.
that her and her husband have, he ran massage parlors.
Two people who
Okay.
would know the system better than two people who
Yes,
are in it,
that
right?
that is the yes,
Right.
that's the counter.
And maybe they
But-
feel it's their penance to
Maybe.
pay to
Maybe.
help others now that they've
of course.
right?
And why do you think that's why I'm not just saying that's what's happening?
Oh, Dr. Justice, I'm not even I don't. You don't pay attention, Justice. That's why you're just not even welcome. You're just here to go somewhere else.
So either way, I scheduled that. I figured this was a good place to do it because I know how to address it. I'm not doing that today. So I did say I was going to do it. Because I don't want to rush into it.
I would do your research. I would look
I have
at this
been.
video. Well, no, not this video. I'm going to show you a screenshot here.
I'll look at
this video here. Watch this video from King Kendrick and listen to it. and hear what he says and what the attorney is trying to tell him.
Oh, wait. Oh, yeah, that's the one where they were arguing about why he wasn't going to proceed with the information he found.
Correct.
He was like, I did all this research and investigation. You're not going to proceed with it. He was throwing a fit. I don't care about Kendrick that much.
It's not about proceeding. It's King Kendrick wanted Sam Aguilar to potentially ruin the case by releasing information while they were litigating this in court.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's about.
I haven't looked into Sam Aguilar too much. I keep seeing his name, but let me see. I'll have to look into him. But you know, like the attorney.
Sam Aguilar is a former Louisville cop who turned activist attorney.
Sam Aguilar or David Moore?
Sam Aguilar.
David Moore is also then a former cop who turned.
Okay, I might be off then. I'm sorry. There's a lot of. I might be off.
There's a lot. I don't know. I've seen Sam Aguilar's
either
name.
way,
He's definitely involved.
Right. He's one of the attorneys.
Yes.
I thought Sam. That was the former.
And do you know what David Moore represents first and foremost? He's had several major representations of certain LLCs. Do you know what two of those LLCs were that he has represented?
As an attorney, he represented these LLCs? You're saying?
Mm-hmm.
And why is him representing an LLC salacious?
Do you know what the LLCs he represented were?
I don't. I'm just curious before you tell me what makes
massage parlors that were busted for prostitution.
So he was representing the owners.
He represented the LLCs. That happened to get. He was already representing
owners.
them.
Right. He was representing the owners of that. So why is that weird that he would also represent Breonna Taylor, who is a victim of...
I'm not going to get into it right now with that, because then we're going to get in realm of speculation.
Well, I don't know that it's bad
not
speculation
the question
because...
No, it's not. I'm just saying I don't have the answers right now.
If he's representing the community that is primarily black in Louisville, how is he a bad guy because he represented those individuals?
A former police officer. But do you not see the conflicts of interest everywhere?
No, because
a former cop who's now a BLM activist.
Say again?
I said a former cop who's now a BLM activist. There's no conflict of interest?
Can you name another one?
Potential?
Can you name another one? No. Can you name another former cop who's now a BLM activist?
Oh, I don't know. Could be Sam Aguilar. Did you find that out?
No. LAPD Captain Cheryl. Cheryl. What the heck was her name?
Why are you looking into this one?
I'm not looking into this one, but it was just this idea that, you know, some police officers become activists, and Cheryl Dorsey would be one of the biggest, if not the biggest, sort of not anti-police, but she's the one who always goes on left-wing news outlets to attack police officers, and is part of sort of the same type of movements that Sam Aguilar and everyone else that's involved with BLM would be a part of.
Mm-hmm. But see, okay, but not only did the former police officer turned BLM activist represent Breonna Taylor, he also turned on and put charges on a lot of the BLM protesters as well. He was supposed to be representing. So how does there begins to become these conflicts of interest?
How can he charge activists as he's not a prosecutor, he's a defender.
Right. You're right.
A defense attorney.
He was the lawyer in these cases, like Kendrick.
Right. He was defending BLM activists that were arrested in Louisville.
He also represented people coming against BLM activists. So is
Like
he really
who?
a BLM activist?
Kendrick was going against. No, Kendrick believed they were both. Summer and Kendrick are both BLM activists who were looking for justice for Breonna Taylor.
Yeah.
They were on the same side.
Yeah. And David Moore was there to represent BLM activists. And he was the representative. He has charges, personal charges against Kendrick.
Well, that's a different situation.
And he represented...
That's a different situation.
He was also the lawyer that represented some of those charges. But specifically, there's one where he wants $550 or something from Kendrick for some... I don't know.
So he sued Kendrick because Kendrick was fucking Fruit Loops off his rocker.
Okay. Maybe.
Well, look
These are all
into it
possible
before
things.
because that's what I'm seeing.
I'm not trying... Again, I don't really care about Kendrick that much. I'm looking at these conflicts of interest and how it's unfolding, right? There's clearly conflicts of interest.
Yeah. Do you know about the... it's not Hutchins. It's I can't remember how he says his name. The cop who shot through the sliding glass door.
Harkins. Brett?
It's not Harkins.
Is that
It's
the one?
no. Yeah, Brett however you say his name. Hankinson. Right. Hankinson had arrested Kendrick.
Yeah.
For drug possession, cocaine charge.
You see how close all these people have been for a long time?
No, it's just because.
Yeah.
Look, police know who they're dealing with in these neighborhoods. They know who, they've had run-ins with, or, you live in the neighborhoods. You know your neighbors. You've seen them. You may not know them personally, whatever. But Hankinson had arrested Kendrick before. Do you think that Kendrick might have a little bit of a grudge against the police officers who have arrested him for criminal activity? Because everybody's, innocent, right?
It's possible.
Because there's no way, if I got arrested by a cop, if I did something wrong, I take it. But, maybe I'm like...
My position is Kendrick's in jail for a reason, because I still haven't found the charges specifically. I think it might have even just been... I think he didn't... what is it called? I can't even think of the word right now. I think one of the times he ended up in jail was because he simply was just disobeying court orders or something, which that's his fault. There's no reason to have that happen.
Yeah.
So I'm not here to defend that kind of a mentality.
Right. And so you have Sam Aguilar, who paid him $17,000 for this video. And in the phone conversation, Kendrick is upset because Sam Aguilar won't leak to the press information about the case. He's like, you need to do this. You need to do this because it's the right thing to do for Breonna. And they're in the middle of the court case, it appears. And Sam Aguilar is trying to tell him, look, man, you can't do this. You can't jeopardize the case. If I do this, I will be fired off this case so fast. So it's interesting that if you really look into what Kendrick is saying, they were all fighting for the same thing. They all wanted justice for Breonna, which is clear as day. The problem being is that Kendrick also had problems staying out of jail and was clearly upset about that, and that the police knew who he was, and that doesn't dismiss any evidence he might find. And there was some body cam footage from the SWAT team when they showed up after the initial what do you call it? After the initial breach of the door where the officer is shot, they go back outside. Then they wait there until the SWAT team comes over from 2424 Elliott Street. That's the video that he sort of uncovered, which I don't know why he
Yeah,
was able to find that. That's what I think is really weird. But and I don't even know what qualified him as a what does he call himself?
Investigator.
An investigator.
He also has federal.
Because
He had
he was a
federal
barber.
charges against. Yeah, he also drew lawsuits up and got them in court for a while, so they had some kind of a standing against the city. I still haven't had time to review them much.
Well, sure. Activists. One of the games that they play with the police departments is they file reports against officers constantly. But that's just sort of typical of anybody who hates cops. They tend to do a lot of that. That's what I've seen, and I mean a lot, because the whole purpose is to bankrupt the police department and cost them money, because they know that every single report that comes in has to be looked at. That little button's not working. Maybe. So, but look, Max, you make this claim, but what has been said that you think is so wrong? Can any of you ever be specific about any of the claims that you make? It's the most annoying bullshit I've ever seen in my entire life.
He's in jail for a reason. I just said that. It doesn't mean that something else isn't happening or that it doesn't deserve to be looked into. And the reality is there's still people going on and on about this. So, if there's nothing going on, I'd like to show
The only people going on and on about it are you and Aunt.
No. Not true. I've seen a lot of people still go on about it.
Really?
Yes. And again, if they want to run safe houses, given their background, it's just fair to be looked into. So, and in fact, it'd be important that the public has oversight on those sorts of things.
Well, isn't it clear that they're working with the police?
Yeah, see, that's okay. Yeah. Yes. Are police always good and honorable?
Well, here's what I would ask you then. Is Summer is not a fan of the police. So do you think she's going to work with police that she wouldn't feel comfortable being what you might call a good cop or good cops? And that's one of the reasons why Kendrick was mad, because he believed that Summer was putting people of color from the community in danger by working with the police to go after sex offenders, sex traffickers, because some of the people that were caught during these sting operations were black. And that's why Kendrick was pissed off at Summer and was going after Summer.
We keep going back to Kendrick. I don't really, he does kind of, his credibility is kind of ruined as far as I can tell. So it's difficult,
Right.
When we keep going back to him. I don't really care to defend him or whatever. But there's plenty of other things like Maxwell Mitchell, someone that was close with Summer, has a lot of allegations from women about him and his behavior, and she defended it. So, these are things this is why I don't want to get too deep, because I don't have the details right now that I can pull up and give you the facts on that, but I'm confident in saying that was happening. See, I thought he was going on about me, Max Planck was. If I said Sparrow's
Max
a spy,
Planck is going on about you. And the
I thought he
claims,
was
and the
earlier.
claims that you've been spouting.
I thought he was earlier, but then you got upset. I was like, is he talking to you? No, if I said Chinese spy, then I retract that. But I do, Chinese agent is possible in my mind. So, and again, in the same context, that I'm not going to repeat myself again. Already said it 1,000 times. Because there's always this operation, against everything to destroy images and to make things in a certain way. And I get that you could say, oh, same thing about you. But China has every obligation, Jesus, every desire to smear the image of America in any way it can. So again,
All right. Do you think you can?
True.
Do you think you can make that point without attacking my friends or putting my friends' names
Okay.
in front of that?
I don't. Yeah, of course. But yeah,
Okay. I would appreciate that.
for sure. I'm not going to bring it up again. It was a point that I wanted to make as a possibility, and I'm
you
not going to
made
go
it.
on and on and on
You
about
made it. No, I know.
I know, but it keeps coming up. I don't want to go on about it, nor you and that thing. So, but it was something that keeps coming up.
That's the thing with these
And I
chatters.
thought it was important to say.
You say one thing once, and that's all they fucking hear.
Yeah.
Right? Joking, not joking. Some of them love little sound snippets. That's their shtick,
for sure.
right? You and I
Yeah.
know that. We
Oh yeah.
paying attention long enough.
No, I mean, and I apologize for this. I'm not trying to, but see, at the same time, when I keep hearing this, I think it's important to at least put it on record as a possibility. That's all there is to it.
There is no possibility.
Okay.
I'd be the first to tell you there is no possibility.
Okay.
I know, but
Take your
I'm
word
just
for it.
telling you there is no possibility, because
Because what it does do, and people can
especially
say whatever they want about
based
it.
on your beliefs and why you think
Right.
that, I can tell you right now, some people are really perceptive. Some people have an ability to recognize what's going on. Their awareness level is high.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they're just lucky. And I'll tell you one thing. Some of that sort of rubbed off on me.
Mm-hmm.
Because one of the things I noticed prior to the convoy is sometimes just staying in one place, the story comes to you. If you run around looking for the story, you'll just miss it every time. Sometimes just staying and being someplace puts you where you need to be. Then the other thing is that sometimes just not saying no puts you in the right place, puts you into the convoy, puts you into meeting really interesting people. And sometimes people are just good people. And sometimes people who want to create a narrative can just do it however they want to.
Yeah. I don't think
You
that my
know,
accusations
the
mean that somebody's a bad person. By the way, I didn't lay that claim out, so I don't think that that would make you a bad person if what I said was true.
when is a Chinese spy a good thing? Look at Ying Ying.
Again, if I said Chinese spy, I didn't mean to. I meant agent, and it doesn't mean it's a bad thing. There's Chinese agents everywhere. Would I disavow them and like call them out? It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but in the
We need
context,
to recognize it.
you know.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, fair enough. But
So, did you spend any time with
yeah.
Captain Sparrow hanging out?
yeah. Again, I don't think he's a bad person. That was not. We can keep repeating this over and over and over.
We can. So, anyway,
Never had a problem with it.
I'm gonna go get some dinner. It was good talking to you.
Get some dinner now.
Thanks
Well-
for joining me. All right, I appreciate it. Oh, well, so much for that. It's very interesting watching the comments. No, Billy, that was not Al Munson. Not at all. But it's interesting. And I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. We got so sidetracked with that. Didn't really get anywhere. Kendrick is her. Wait. BB Freedom. Kendrick is her Taylor Brianna's boyfriend. No. Kendrick was not Breonna Taylor's boyfriend. No, actually, BB Freedom, I won't even put up the comment because it's so off that yeah, you got some names mixed up. I think you're thinking of Kenneth. So it's okay. Look, y'all. I have disagreements with people all the time. Me personally, I'm not a fan of summer. But when I see somebody doing stupid shit, especially when I see that it's hurtful to other people, whether, I tried to have a conversation with Summer and it didn't go well because of many reasons. And we disagree on a lot of things. But the simple fact is she's still a human being. And I think that dredging up something that is clearly difficult for her, which I understand, I don't think helps anyone. Just because you're not willing to put in the work to understand where it's coming from and who the people are involved. Whatever that signal is, Sparrow does Sparrow, and he does good work. And he does it quite somehow. Now it's back. Now you have audio. Somehow I clicked the mute button over here, or something happened when I clicked off, and now it should be back. Please tell me it's back. Subtitles maybe would help. So are you guys really not getting audio now? Okay, good. Thank you, Crazy. Yeah, somehow when I turned off the audio in this other app, you should have me loud and clear, Crazy. Let me know how it sounds. I think that might have been messing it up because it's really not getting the audio from this other program, but it should all be coming through. The question is it synced up now? What was I saying? What was I saying is there's an audio problem and my screen's telling me there's an audio problem and I'm working. And little did I know when I turned it off in Ecamm, sounds good. Does it sound better now, Bruce Davis? Because I will keep these settings for next time because I realized that it might have perhaps been getting double audio, which is causing that clicking sound. Okay, thank you, baby. So we'll see. But okay. All right. Well, anyway, I appreciate you all. Thank you so much. Little weird box there. That one's gone. Actually, get back there and fix it. But we will chit chat more another day. For now, thank you guys for joining me. And let me just look something here. It was an interesting conversation. Timaya, your sound breaks up the more you play with the laptop. Yeah, see, you know, I need to figure out whether, because I think that's what it is. And it might just be the metal chassis and wires and static. I have an awful static problem. I feel like a lot of it, every time we go to Walmart, I don't know what it is with the Walmart carts, but if I'm holding the Walmart cart and I reach out and I touch a shelf, I get a really bad shock. So I'm not allowed to push the cart anymore because I may die at Walmart. Every time I come into the studio here, I now touch the metal rack behind me, get the static out of me there before I come over to the desk, because if I touch the desk or anything, then I get more static. I figure out how to ground myself. If that's a grounding problem, I swear the surge protector says everything's grounded really well and it's protected, but I still have some sort of static problem, and I don't know where it's from other than just dryness in winter, perhaps. But I get to the bottom of it before I short everything out and the place blows up. We'll see. It's my Chinese spy friend with my technical issues. If he was only Chinese, but he's not Chinese. All you racists out there that think he's Chinese should be ashamed of yourselves. Good grief. Wizzy is a robot. Conspiracy theory. Clearly. I have you ever seen a robot like this? I doubt that. It would be such a static in nature. Is nature's way of saying this is going to be a shock to you. Interesting. Wait until you some of the shocks you might actually be surprised. So Kathy, he does know great Korean food. Kathy, stupid fun fact. Are you ready? Captain Sparrow is cheap. He does not like spending money. He's very thrifty. He's very budget conscious. He's really good about that stuff. Me, I like a great meal. And we went to a couple of really incredible Korean barbecues. There's one close to DC that we went to. That was out of this world. But he goes, dude, this is really expensive. I go, well, it better be worth it. And let me just tell you, I forget what it wasn't like, we weren't talking like $100 a person meal, but in Captain Sparrow's world of Korean barbecue, it was a really nice Korean, and it was a beautiful Korean, modern restaurant. And you know what, Al Munson, you don't have any right to. Fuck off. Why do you think you need to know anything? Like, let him just do his thing. Just fuck right off. In fact, you know what? Really, just fuck off, Al Munson. You don't like it here? Don't come here. Come here, you can chat on another account like you losers do. And it's just fine with me. I really don't mind, because I it's a fun game we like to play. Guess the bot account, or it's not, I didn't mean to say bot account. I meant to say guess the sock. You know what? Fuck you too, G Abbott. I don't really care about jokes. I don't think any of it's a joke. I think you're a joke. And again, I don't take jokes well, especially when you joke about my friends and things that I don't think are funny. And I like comedy, and I don't like people being canceled over comedy. But guess what? I can do without your comedy. Bye. Anyway. You know what? Are you shitting me, Eric? That cheapskate paid for you twice? Wait a minute. That's bullshit. Now I'm mad. On that, Wizzy out, everybody. We'll see you guys later. Bye. Oh, that's the wrong button. That's the button. Sorry. Try it.